going to read a Brothers Grimm fairy tale for you today. One that doesn't get enough play in my book. One of the only ones with cross-dressing. This is called The 12 Huntsmen. There was once a prince who was betrothed to a maiden, the daughter of a king who he loved very much. One day when they were together and very happy, a messenger came from the prince's father, who was lying ill, to summon him home, as he wished to see him before he died. He said to his beloved, "I must go away and leave you now, but I give you this ring as a keepsake. When I am king, I will come and fetch you away." Then he rode off, and when he was gone home, he found his father on his deathbed. His father said, "My dear son, I wanted to see you one last time before I die. Promise me to marry the bride I have chosen for you." And then he named some certain princess who the prince did not know. His son was so sad, and without reflecting, he promised to do what his father wished. Thereupon the king closed his eyes and died. Now, when the prince had been proclaimed king and the period of mourning was past, the time came when he had to keep his promise to his father. He made his offer to the princess, and it was accepted. His betrothed heard of this and grieved so much over his faithlessness that she very nearly died. The king, her father, asked, "Dear child, why are you so sad? You shall have whatever you desire." She thought for a moment and said, "Dear father, I want 11 maidens, all exactly like me in face and figure and height." The king said, "If it is possible, your wish shall be fulfilled." And he caused a search to be made all over his kingdom till 11 maidens were found, all exactly like his daughter. The princess ordered 12 huntsmen costumes to be made, which she commanded her maidens to wear, putting on the 12th herself. Then she took the leave of her father and rode away with the maidens to the court of her former bridegroom, whom she loved so dearly. She asked him if he wanted any huntsmen and whether he would take them all into his service. The king didn't recognize her, but they were all so handsome, these huntsmen. He said yes, he would engage them. So they all entered the king's service. Now the king had a lion, which was a wonderful creature, for he knew all secret and hidden things. This lion said to the king one evening, "You fancy you have 12 huntsmen here, don't you?" "Yes," said the king. "You are mistaken," said the lion. "They are 12 maidens." The king answered, "Oh, that can't be true. How can you prove it?" "Have some peas strewn in your anteroom tomorrow, and you will soon see. Men have a firm tread, and when they walk on peas, the peas don't move. But maidens trip and trod and slide and make the peas roll about," said the lion. The king was pleased with the lion's advice and ordered peas to be strewn all over the floor. There was, however, a servant of the king who favoured the huntsmen, and when he heard they were about to be put to the test, he went and told them all about it. He said, "The lion is going to prove to the king that you are all maidens." The princess thanked him and said afterwards to her maidens, "Now do your utmost to tread firmly on the peas." The next morning, when the king ordered them to be called, they walked into the antechamber with so firm a tread that not a pea moved. When they had gone away, the king said to the lion, "You lied. They walk just like men." But the lion answered, "They've been warned of the test and they were prepared for it. Let 12 spinning wheels be brought into the antechamber, and they will be delighted at the sight as no man would be." This plan so pleased the king that he ordered the spinning wheels. But again the kind servant warned the huntsmen of the plan. When they were alone, the princess said to her maidens, "Control yourselves, and don't look so much at the spinning wheels." When the king the next morning sent for the huntsmen, they walked through the antechamber without even glancing at one of the spinning wheels. Then the king said to the lion, "You lied to me. They are men. They never looked once at a spinning wheel." The lion answered, "They knew they were on trial and restrained themselves." But the king would not believe him any more. The 12 huntsmen always went with the king on his hunting expeditions, and the longer he had them, the better he liked them. Now it happened one day when they were out hunting that news came of the royal bride's approach. And when the true bride heard it, the shock was so great that her heart nearly stopped, and she fell down in a dead faint. The king, thinking something had happened to his favourite huntsman, ran to help him and pulled off his glove, and then he saw the ring he had given his first betrothed on the hand of his huntsman. And when he looked at her in the face, he recognised her, and he was so moved that he kissed her. And when she opened her eyes, he said, "Thou art mine, and I am thine, and nobody in the world shall separate us." And then he sent a messenger to the other bride and begged her to go home, as he already had a wife. And he who has an old dish does not need a new one. The marriage was then celebrated, and the lion was taken into favour again, because after all, he had spoken the truth. It never mentions what happens to the 11 other maidens who were dressed as huntsmen. I've always wondered what became of them. Well, I hope you've enjoyed some stories tonight, and I'll be back tomorrow with some more.